What's going on? What's going on? This is your favorite speaker, Britton Harvest. Hashtag breadcrumbs. Hashtag random acts of kindness. RAK. Hashtag rack motivation. Y'all gonna laugh at me, man, but I was trying to do this video earlier and I had my liners in my mouth and my words were not coming out right at all. You hear me? Y'all would have been like, man, he need to go see a speech therapist or something. I tried it, man, and I wear them all day. And I was like, you know what, let me do this video with the men. And I was like, that ain't gonna work. Cause I was trying to, say certain words and I couldn't say them because I was talking with a lisp. I was like, nah, this ain't gonna cut it. I was like, I'm gonna put them back in after the video, but I'm just telling y'all that I was laughing at myself because I actually got them sitting right here. And I was trying to do the video. I thought I was going smoothly with it. And all of a sudden it was like, I was listening to myself and how the words were coming out. I was like, that ain't gonna do it, B. That ain't gonna do it. But anyway, I want to talk to y'all today, man. I'm gonna do something that's a little bit, taboo. What I'm about to talk about is, I'm gonna go against the grain, long story short. I'm gonna talk to you all about feelings, man. That's what I'm talking about today. The topic for today is feelings. And the reason I want to touch on feelings is because throughout my studying, I've been thinking about it long and hard, and I've been saying to myself, why is society so conditioned for us not to express ourselves? Like, we've gotten to a point where for us to express ourselves to someone else, the person that is doing the expressing, the other person is like acting as if that's weird. Like, it's kind of like, it's one of those awkward things where you get an awkward silence, or a person doesn't know how to reply when you send it to them in a text message. If you tell somebody that you love them and they don't really reply and say, I love you back, they'll be like, okay, or that's sweet, or, oh, you shouldn't have. That person is not used to being in touch with their feelings. And a society nowadays that we're in, the era that we're in, when you're not used to being in touch with your feelings, and you are coming across, or you come into contact with somebody that's okay with expressing themselves to you, and you feel as though it's awkward, that says more about you than it does the person that's expressing themselves. Because when you're comfortable with who you are, and when you love everything about you, everything that you do is an expression of that. So I'm gonna take me for instance. I love myself, right? I love everything about me. And by loving myself, whatever it is that I do for other people, I have to be doing it in an extension of love, because I am love. And by me being love, when I do something for you, that's going to be shown. That's going to exemplify who I am. But if you're not used to being shown that kind of love, because you're not used to being in loving situations or in a loving environment, then what I'm going to do, or what I do for you, is going to be foreign. And because it's foreign to you, and because society has conditioned us now to think that whenever we're supposed to show feelings, that's taboo, because you're the type of person that, oh man, you're showing feelings. I don't know if I can deal with that. You're too thirsty. I'm like, thirsty? I'm a well-rounded individual. I didn't always used to be this way. Because I was raised in a household where saying I love you was not gonna happen. Only time I got the word I love you is after a whooping. I'm just telling y'all, that's just being real. That's the only time I heard the word I love you growing up. Now, I make it a habit to tell my son every time that I talk to him, whether it's on the phone, in person, it doesn't matter. Before we leave or part ways, or before the conversation ends, I always make it a point to say that I love you. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want him to grow up thinking that is a foreign term. I don't want him to grow up thinking that he's not supposed to use those words. Because when you feel a certain way about something, action follows. But if you don't have any feelings, you're just meandering around. You don't have no purpose. You don't have nothing that's going to push you or catapult you. You don't have a catalyst whatsoever, because there is no feeling in you. You have went through life and got conditioned to the point where now society has programmed you to think that if you are to feel a certain way about something, that's wrong. And that's the reason why you all are not getting a lot of things accomplished in life, because you don't have any feelings toward anything. How can you get something accomplished when you don't feel a certain way about it? It's okay to feel a certain way about something. When something doesn't sit well with your spirit, when something doesn't sit well with your soul, you're supposed to sit up here and go through life and pretend as if it doesn't bother you. You're supposed to pretend as if it doesn't affect you. If it doesn't sit well with you and who you are as a person, and it doesn't align with everything and all of the morals that you have a right to feel a certain way. Because that feeling that you're feeling, when you feel a certain way, that's going to motivate you to action. But when you're going through life trying to pretend and walk around with this armor on, like we do, as if nothing bothers us. Okay, you said something that was out of the way. Oh well. You said some fly stuff out of the mouth. Oh well. You said something that it was meant to be degrading. It was meant to be disrespectful. But I'm going to let it roll out my back as if it's not. You deserve to feel a certain way. You ought to feel a certain way about it. Because when you feel a certain way about it, now all of a sudden actions are going to follow that feeling. And when actions follow that feeling, now all of a sudden you're getting something done. You're getting something done. But if you want to go through life not showing any actions whatsoever, and you want to act as if that you're just so macho to where you don't want to show any feelings, now all of a sudden you're not showing any actions because you're not in touch with that. And if you're not in touch with any actions because you don't have any feelings, now what you going to do? Now how are you going to actually go through something to get something accomplished? Because I was talking to my brother Nick earlier today. And Nick was telling me, he was like, man, he put up a little meme, and it was actually something that we've been studying. So I'm going to share that with you all. And the meme said simply this: I'm going from my career to my calling. Very simple. But yet something so simple is very profound. Because we've been going through life so worried about our career that we miss our calling. We've missed our calling because we don't want to have feelings for anything. When you don't have feelings for anything, you're just going through life following your career, doing what people before you have done, doing what your parents and grandparents have done. Now all of a sudden it's become tradition to say, you know what, I'm going to just follow my career and disregard my calling. And by disregarding your calling, what you're doing is you're ignoring your feelings. You're ignoring what you have been called on this earth to do. For the simple fact that following your career is a lot easier. Following your career does not cause any resistance whatsoever. There's no adversity when you follow your career. All you have to do is step into that model program that's already there. And if you clock in and clock out like everybody else has done throughout the years, and you just do not rock the boat and don't ruffle any feathers, you should be all right. But by following your calling, there's going to be obstacles in your way. By following your calling, there's going to be trials, tribulations that are going to come. Unbeknownst to you, there's going to be adversity so big and so huge to where you're going to say to yourself, man, is this something that I'm really supposed to be doing? I mean, when I was following my career, everything was smooth. But now all of a sudden I'm following my calling, I'm coming against all this resistance, all of this friction. And the reason why you're coming against all of this friction, the reason why you're doing it is because you're developing a different you. Whenever you're coming up with friction, whenever you are coming across something and it's making you cringe or it's making you feel uneasy and you're uncomfortable, that is causing you to grow. That's all that is doing. It's causing you to grow. You're turning into a different version of yourself. You were 2.0. Now you're turning into 3.0, 4.0. but you are all of a sudden uncomfortable with that feeling because it's foreign to you, just like somebody telling you that they love you, that's foreign to you. And because that is so foreign to you, you don't want to tap into it. And because you refuse to tap into your feelings, because you refuse to ignore how you feel about a certain thing or a certain person, you know what happens? You go back to career mode. You go back to doing everything that you've been doing from the moment you've been brought on this earth. Now you're not accomplishing anything. You don't have anything to show for everything that you've done throughout the year because all you've been doing is following tradition. And now you're unsatisfied. Now you have this empty feeling inside of you and you're wondering how can I replenish that? How can I fill this void that is lying deep down inside of me because I've been in my career field for 15 years now. 15 years I've been in my career and I'm still feeling empty. And the reason you're feeling empty is because you haven't followed your calling. Reason you're feeling empty is because you haven't had feelings for anything. You've been taught to suppress your feelings. And by suppressing your feelings, this is the version of you that we've gotten thus far. We as a society, we're waiting on you. We're waiting on you to blossom into the person that you're supposed to become. We're waiting on you to tap into that potential that's lying dormant within you. Society is waiting on that. You owe that to us. And by you not tapping into it, you're depriving us of all of your greatness. All of your ideas, all of your inventions, all of the tools that you brought to this earth, you're depriving us of it. All because you don't want to tap into your feelings. All because you want to sit up here and act as if nothing bothers you. Having feelings is normal. We as human beings, we're supposed to be the most intelligent individuals on this earth, but sometimes I second guess that. But what I am saying is this. When you lack feelings, you lack purpose. And without purpose, how do you expect to get anything done? Quit going through life thinking that it's okay to not show any feelings about anything, and you're not going into it with any passion, and you're not following your calling. Now all of a sudden, you're sitting back while everybody else is living the lifestyle that they're supposed to live. They're going and doing things that they're supposed to be doing, that they've been called here to do, and you're depriving us of your greatness. Just because something is foreign or is an alien to you does not mean that it's not meant for you. Who are you to sit up here and tell which direction you're supposed to be going if you believe in a higher calling? Whether it's God, whether it's the universe, whether it's energy in general, regardless of what it is that you believe in. If you believe in such, why are you sitting up here trying to control everything that's supposed to happen to you? In order to grow, you must flow. You can't grow if you're not allowing things to flow within you and through you. A lot of you all have blockages. And those blockages are not allowing you to let things flow through you and give the world your greatness. Show the world what you've been brought here to do. Because when you show the world what you've been brought here to do, now all of a sudden, other things start opening up for you. Other things that you had no idea of whatsoever. When all of a sudden you start taking those 2 steps, all of a sudden now you're on a path of incline to where now you get to see everything over the horizon. But you won't be able to see it unless you take the leap. You won't be able to see it unless you're willing to climb. And a lot of you all are not willing to climb. It's not going to be easy. If I told you it was going to be easy, I'll be lying to you. If anybody tells you that, hey man, it's a piece of cake, it's a cakewalk, they're lying to you. What is a cakewalk is you doing the same thing you've been doing for 15, 20 years. That's a cakewalk. You're not even challenging yourself, because when you get conditioned to doing something over and over and over again, now you're not firing off anything new in your head. There are no new connections happening up here in your brain because you keep doing the same thing over and over again. Your neurons need to be exercised. There are some things that you need to do that you've been doing all your life. It's time for a change. It's time for you to start switching things up now. Because when you switch things up, now all of a sudden you're going to start getting different results. But you all are doing the same thing, expecting different results. And you wonder why you haven't been getting them. Well, I'm here to tell you why. You've gotten away from your feelings. You just stop feeling a certain way about things. You have all of a sudden been programmed to think that if you feel a certain way about something, that's wrong, that's taboo, and that's not the case whatsoever. That's the reason why you haven't been showing any action. That's the reason why you've been complacent. That's the reason why you've been numb to a lot of things that's been going on around the world, because you've been programmed. As human beings, we're supposed to have feelings. As human beings, we're supposed to express ourselves to one another. But for some odd reason, we think that that's not okay. Well, I'm here to tell you, there's another level within you. There's another tier waiting on you. And in order to reach it, you got to tap into your feelings. It's not going to happen any other way. Do you want to be a shell of yourself all your life? Or do you actually want to live out your fullest potential? That's up to you to decide. Because the higher you climb, the better the view. And it's hard to enjoy those views if you're not willing to put in the work. When you make that climb, it's going to be difficult. When you make that climb, it's going to be things thrown your way, and that's going to try to hinder you from getting to that viewpoint. But I can guarantee you this. Each level and each tier that you get to, you're going to be glad that you did it. You're going to be glad you took that next step. You're going to be glad you got in your car and took that and drove that extra mile. But you all have gotten to the point where if you don't see the whole thing lining up in front of you, you don't even want to do it. If you don't see the bottom of the pool, you all don't want to jump in. Don't worry about the bottom of the pool if you know how to swim. All you need to do is jump in and dive. Everything that you need to know is lying underneath that water, but you are afraid to jump in. You're not going to always see the bottom. You're not going to always see the end outcome. But as you're going through what you're going through, other things are going to pop up and you're going to say to yourself, dang, I never looked at it that way. Dang, that makes a lot of sense. Now all of a sudden, you're gaining all of these experiences along the way. Now all of a sudden, you're growing as a person. And once you get to the end of where you're trying to go, you turn out to be a totally different person than first started. All because you decided to take the leap. All because you decided to follow your calling. But if you don't follow your calling, you'll never experience that. You can read about it and read about how other people have went through it, but you'll never experience it. You'll never know what it's like to live because you're afraid to. You're afraid to tap into your feelings. I have no problem telling you that I love you. I have no problem telling you that because I love myself. So if I love myself, everything that I do for you is going to be out of love. But if I'm hating myself and I hate where I am and I hate the job where I'm working at right now, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to live out that same hate. And everything that you're living out is a reflection of who you are. You create your reality. You create your reality by your consciousness. So because you chose to dwell in hate, you chose to not be loving to individuals, you don't want the best out of nobody. You feel as though because things ain't going right for you, you don't want them to go right for nobody. Because you feel that way, that's why things are not lining up for you. You're out of position. And the only way you can get back into position is you need to find your balance. You need to find your equilibrium. And once you find your equilibrium, just like water, now you need to learn to take the shape of the container. Once you take the shape of the container and become fluid, once you become fluid, it's over. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can get in your way. You start vibrating on a different frequency. And once you start vibrating on a different frequency up here, that's when you got those better views. I love y'all, man. And I end my videos by saying I love you because I do. I tell my son all the time I love him. And I want him to know that because I don't want him to be afraid to express himself. Because once you're afraid to express yourself, now all of a sudden you're lacking passion. And if there's no feelings behind what it is that you're doing, that means you're just doing it. You're just a shell of yourself. And we're so much more than that. That's why I do these videos. I'm doing these videos to bring out that other version of you that's been lying dormant. It's waiting for you to bring it out. It's waiting to surface. The world needs it. You've been brought here for a reason. And I want you to live out that reason before it's too late. I am your favorite speaker, Britton Harvest. Hashtag breadcrumbs. Hashtag random acts of kindness, RAK. Hashtag rag motivation. I love y'all. Y'all heard me speak about my son throughout the video. Bo, I love you too. I love the person that you're becoming. And all I got to say is, I'll see y'all next time, man. I'm out.